That's the I guess the studious side of you talking about it, because I mean I know the numbers, but we got, in order to even think about something like that, we got to win a game first. I mean, this is tough. This is a very difficult stretch we've been in. It's hard to think that we haven't won a game since our bye week, and that was such a good week because of the win over New Orleans. So it is it's very frustrating, but the reality is what it is. If we can win a game, then maybe we can start thinking about doing something positive. But I'll tell you this is our focus. That we're not going to get caught up in what's gone on. We understand what we have to do, and we're working to try to get it done.
Wiz, if in fact that is going to happen, and again, you're 2 games out here with 6 to go. The schedule does seem to favor you guys when you look at some of the other teams, and I know what you're saying. You got to win a game. I get that. But if in fact you're going to have an opportunity to win a game and then maybe put 2 together and maybe get back into this race, what do you think has got to happen with your football team?
It seems like it's almost becoming a brutal pattern. It's the same thing week in and week out. We have a good practice. We go out and we prepare and we feel good about the game, and then we get into the game, and something happens in the game that seems to put us in a downward spiral. We have opportunities offensively to make a play in the game early that can change it, and we don't do it. We had more drop balls yesterday as an offense than I can remember. We did a lot of positive things from a standpoint. Protection was very good. Our running game, showed signs yesterday of being pretty good at times. We were able to throw the ball in the windy conditions, but we couldn't establish any continuity. We missed third downs again. So, that's discouraging. Defensively, we got to quit giving up the big play. I mean, that's what's killing us. At times yesterday, I don't think their third down conversion was very good, but we gave up too many big plays. And then you look at our special teams. We had a chance to get a ball down probably inside the 5, and we let it go into the end zone, and they get it at the 20, and that's a huge difference. I mean, I can think of, a dozen games or half a dozen games over the last year where we've pinned somebody down at the 1-yard line, and it's directly led to points. Let's just go back to the last game we won against New Orleans, where we did the same thing. It was the 1-yard line. Paris Lennon got an interception at the 1. We scored a touchdown, and that kind of changes the course of the game. So, the bottom line is this. We've had opportunities to make our plays, and we haven't made those plays. And what I told the team yesterday is somebody's got to step up. We got to say enough's enough. We've got too many good players in here to not do those kind of things. And it's hard because you work at it. Our guys, they want to win. There's nobody that's given up or that's not working hard. It's and look, I'm not trying to make excuses. I don't want to give that perception. We're going to work to get it fixed, and that's all we can do.
We know how slim the margin of victory is in the NFL, and a lot of guys echoed that in the locker room yesterday. Tough locker room about making plays. That's what it comes down to, because a lot of times in the stat sheet, in this last 5 games have been pretty similar. But then sometimes the final score has not been all that close. Is that the difference then, just ultimately that little bit of making those plays at the critical times?
Well, it makes a difference in the game. I mean, it's the difference between being up 3 points and then going down 14-3 and having a touchdown or 2 and keeping them out of the end zone. It makes a difference. They have a 3rd and goal at the 1, and they make the play and get 7 points. We have 2 opportunities we have a chance to make a play down near the goal line on a 3rd down play, and we don't make it. And then we obviously have a chance to get them pinned at the 1, and we don't do that. So they made plays. We didn't make plays. The score is a little bit out of whack because they scored a couple at the end of the game when we were in a situation where we were trying to catch up. But that doesn't matter. I mean, the thing that makes a difference is our team making plays. We've done that over the last couple of years. We have not done that consistently this year, and we're all accountable for that, and that's what we have to continue to try to do, is to make those plays. And somewhere along the line you got to have somebody step up and make a play, and that's how you get the confidence going with your team, because we're in a mode right now where we don't have a lot of confidence, and that's a fleeting thing in the NFL, and you look to make a couple of plays. I thought yesterday we had a nice drive to start the game. The conditions were horrible. We were pinned back, windy, but we took it right down the field, making some plays. We had a 3rd down play. We made a play in there on a 3rd down with a slant. We hit Steve Breston, and I said, okay, we got an opportunity, and then we settle for 3 points. And, those are the kind of things that we've got to continue to work hard and just hopefully it'll turn for us.
Talking to head coach Ken Whisenhunt. You can watch us online as well at KTAR.com/Doug and Wolf. Just click on the link. You mentioned it a second ago about the defense. I realize 31 points is not, in any way acceptable, but at the same time, you mentioned the third down conversions. Kansas City was only 4 of 11. I mean, there were some moments where the defense really showed the signs that you've been looking for all year, and then there were other times where Dwayne Bowe was running free.
Well, that's what we have to eliminate. I mean, we gave up a number of plays, significantly long plays, 25-plus yard plays, and you can't do that. You can't do that as a defense. I mean, our tackling yesterday was better. I thought we played okay against their run game. We had a couple of opportunities to get them down, and they kind of stayed in behind the line and picked a hole and got extra yardage. But we have got to eliminate those big plays that allow them to get the chunks of yardage where they move the ball down the field, because that's disheartening to a defense. You work so hard, and then you feel like you plug all the leaks, and then all of a sudden one springs out, and the next thing you know, more of them are popping up. So we just got to, I sound like a broken record here. Listen, we're working at it, and we got to stay this course, because I know. Listen, the one thing I know is the way we prepare, the way we work. I know that it works for us. I know that we can be successful. I've seen in games, even over these last 5, where we've been very close to doing that. And we've got to find a way to sustain it. And some of it's got to go on our players. They've got to take onus. And one of our leaders, one of our young guys, has got to step up, make those plays.
Coach, being poor on third down, where your offense might be struggling to stay on the field, do you think that has any impact on the defense, be it them being on the field too long and maybe giving up big plays because they become fatigued? Do you think one is connected to the other?
There's no question that, it does affect the defense. I'm not going to accept the fatigue excuse. I mean, they weren't on the field that long yesterday. We had more time of possession. So they didn't. What'd you say? They had 53 plays.
I think it was 53 offensive
something like
plays,
that.
Yeah.
68 to 53.
Yeah. So I'm not going to accept fatigue as part of it. Now, it does fall into the confidence thing, because the defense will go out there and get a stop, and then we won't have a sustained drive. And the reason that we're not having sustained drives for the most part is because we haven't been able to convert on third down. And there's reasons. Yesterday I thought we were, even though statistically we weren't better, we had the plays there, and we didn't make the catch. We didn't execute it. I mean, we had 3 drops on third down yesterday that would have sustained drives. If you add those 3 into the third down conversion percentages, all of a sudden now you've got a good percentage. You've got a good conversion percentage. You've got sustained drive. You've got points. Makes a difference in those games. And Doug, you said it a minute ago, the margins in NFL games are so close. These games can swing in the balance on a couple of plays in a game. And, I hate to say that there could be one play like getting the ball knocked out of bounds at the 1-yard line that can make a difference in the game, but it can. And that's where we have to do the better job. We've got to make those plays.
And I know you can look at any number of plays, but when you look at the scope of the game, how critical or pivotal do you think that touchdown drive by Kansas City was to open the second half?
Unacceptable. Unacceptable by our defense. That's, when you talk about a team and on the road and having to make a statement in order to get back into it, you can't have that happen. And, that's probably one of the most disappointing aspects of the game yesterday, is the fact that they went right down the field on us. That was really the only time yesterday's game where I felt that we weren't competitive on that drive. The other times they made big plays and got them down there, and they had a short field a couple of times. But that one, especially coming out after the half, is unacceptable.
From your playing days, where is the balance on the difficulty of being the player that steps up and makes the plays that you're asking to be made, but the old line of do your job, don't try to do too much? How do you balance both of those things that your team needs right now?
Well, I think right now, Doug, which is a good question, I think right now the most important thing for our team is not to have a bunch of renegade guys trying to make plays, because that's what leads up to big plays. I think it's more important to do your job. Maybe being a leader, stepping up, is doing your job and making the play within the scope of what we're trying to do. We had a mental mistake on the one play to Jamal Charles yesterday, which was a little pass. He checked through the line, the quarterback throws to him, and he runs 30-something yards with the ball. Being a leader means your responsibility for that gap, for that area where he checks down, is you cover that guy. You're not running out to the flat when you have a bust. And, those are the things. That's what I'm talking about from our guys. You got to put the time in. You got to be leaders from that standpoint. And you got to help support each other. I think yesterday we had guys that were upset on the sideline, not because of the way the game went. They were upset with each other because we were making mistakes that were hurting us. And maybe that's a good sign. Maybe we're to the point now where we've bottomed out, as they say, and our guys have said enough, and hopefully that'll show up Monday night.
Is there any common denominator, Wiz, on third down offensively? What has been plaguing you guys, or is it a breakdown here, mentally, physically, whatever it may be? Has there been a common denominator?
Well, Doug, I think we haven't made the plays. I think you can. Excuse me, Wolf. I didn't mean to say that.
You can see Wolf was insulted.
Yeah, I could. I was trying to think of how I wanted to answer that thing.
You could have called me Paul. I could. I had to handle that one.
Yeah, well, it's been a bad day. It was a bad day. Yeah, still in the doldrums from yesterday.
If you call me Wolf, I'm going to hit the treadmill. But anyway, go ahead.
You can point to a number of different things. Whether it's mistakes in routes, whether it's a busted protection, whether it's drop balls. I mean, it seems to be contributions in a lot of different areas. And, I go back even to the Oakland game where we played them. We had a third down late in the game where Steve was wide open. It was a play that would have ended the game for us, and the ball got tipped. And Steve almost pulled it in, and it would have essentially locked the game up for us. But that's the kind of things that are happening to us. It seems like there's all kinds of little things that are happening in third down. And once again, it becomes a confidence issue. There's no question. I think in the past when we've been better on third downs or we've had more success sustaining drives earlier, we've had guys make plays. We've had guys step up and okay, I don't care that the ball was tipped. I caught it. And I'm not pointing the finger at Steve. Steve's made some great plays for us. I'm just saying, those are the things that we're missing. And because I think our schemes have been actually okay. We've had guys open, whether we've missed them in the route progressions, whether we've dropped the balls. It seems like there's always something, and that's, it's on us to get it fixed.
Obviously, this is something you're going to want to do with the team instead of with us. But set the tone for practice this week. What are your plans for practice?
Well, you mean from a standpoint of the days, or
meaning is it one of the old pads things? Is it gotten to that point? Is it one of those things where no, we just have to stay on track and keep doing what you're doing? And I'm basing the question off the comments you made to Paul actually yesterday at the postgame show when you said if guys aren't going to do this, they won't play. So tell me about practice this week in that.
Well, listen. First of all, we've been in pads. Mm-hmm. We haven't gotten out of pads. In fact, we've been hitting on Wednesdays and Thursdays, which is, late in the season. Usually, you got to scale that back. But we're trying to do exactly what I said we're going to do, is get back to the basics and work on those things. So, I think really you just got to look at the guys that if there's repeat offenders as far as making mistakes, then what's the reason not to put somebody else in there, even though they may not be you may not be as comfortable as a coach with them playing. But, if your guys aren't going to get it done. But once again, it comes down to this. We've been working well in practice. Our guys have been working hard. They've been doing a nice job. I mean, you have mistakes in practice. That's normal. That's why you practice. We have not been getting it done on game day. And, I think there has to be a sense of urgency that if you're not going to step up on the field and do it on Sunday, then you got to think about looking at other guys playing. And I think that's a natural thing for where we are with our football team right now. And hopefully that, I don't think it's going to change anything from the standpoint of our chemistry of our team or how we prepare. I certainly believe guys understand that. But, maybe if we get a little bit of extra sense of urgency from our guys on game day, that'll help.
Speaking of preparing, Coach, Monday night game coming up against the 49ers, of course. Any different practice schedule throughout this week because of that?
Well, there's a number of different ways to do it. What we have done in the past is give them an extra day. We'll come in today, have Tuesday, Wednesday off, and then start a normal week. So you have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday now become your Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But that extra day really kind of messes you up. But what we're going to do this week is we're going to go the extra day of practice. We're just going to shorten it on Thanksgiving so guys will have a chance to spend it with their family. So we'll get an extra day of work.